Hi, welcome to the inaugural Spruce Architecture podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Phil Brady,
And I'm Ashley Phillips.
and I guess we should start from the beginning, like how we got here and why are we doing this. I started Spruce Architecture in 2014, and originally it was a business that served other businesses. So I set out as a freelancer, and in a way that was kind of pretty apt because that's how Ashley sort of found me. He asked me if I had any work as a freelancer, and as time went on, between 2014 and 2016, when Ashley contacted me, I'd built up some more clients, and I was serving one company in particular. I was doing most of their work by then. A chap called Glenn Moore, who sadly passed away some years back. At the time when Ashley contacted me, I was dabbling with a bit of main contracting, building, so it couldn't have been sort of better timing when I got the call. This chap was like, "Oh, I've been doing architecture in Sheffield. I've moved back down. Yeah, and we met, and it was great." So, from your side, Ashley, like, how did you kind of get from where you
Yeah,
were
so
to me?
well, at the time, I'd not long been out of uni, really. So did my degree up in Sheffield. As part of that, you finish your degree, you search around for jobs. I managed to find a place at a practice called Globe Architects.
Yeah,
So I did 2 years there, mainly focused on healthcare and student accommodation kind of thing. Most of the stuff I was doing with the NHS and private hospitals, designing anything from A&E departments to like MRI suites and stuff like that. Some quite
yeah,
interesting details and stuff. And then came the time when we started a little family, and we're both Eastbourne born and bred, me and the missus. So decided that it'd be a good idea to go back to the roots, back to where all the grandparents and the free babysitting
yeah,
is.
yeah. Get back down south.
Um, so yeah, came down, put out some feelers, and luckily found you guys, and just you at the time, and started getting involved with that, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have come at a better time for me when you sort of contacted me, because as viewers, you might discover over time, I'm someone who seems to bite off more than he can chew. So yeah, when I find sort of good people to help me, it's really it was really great. I also had a chap called Glyn, who we might talk about as we go along, who's still working with us now. He's like a great visual artist, draftsman. It's probably one of the finest architects I know that isn't an architect, and we'll probably talk about that as well as we go along. The differences between architects and architectural designers and technicians and technologists,
Yeah,
and the way that we're all perceived, perhaps. So it was me, and I was kind of scrambling between a couple of building projects that I was overseeing, and then I had Glyn doing bits and pieces for me, but he never wanted to do any of the building regulations and technical works. Although he occasionally, not just me, but other sort of people would sort of force him into it, and I would help him to make sure that it was correct. But yeah, it was really great that when Ashley kind of came along, it was like, oh, I could do building regs, brilliant.
yeah, no problem.
So then, yeah, so we kind of carried on like that for a number of years, and it was me, and Ashley was working for me freelance, and Glyn was working for me freelance, and Spruce Architecture was working for other people directly and as freelancers. And Glenn Moore, who I mentioned earlier, he was giving us basically all of his work by this time. So can't remember the year. I have to think about that. But
I met Glenn. Glenn, sorry. I met Glenn. The privilege of working with you on
yes,
the old reservoir with Glenn. Um, but
so I
was it
think
young enough?
Glenn passed away early 2019. I
Mm,
think. I think that's right. So yeah, we'd gone through sort of 2016, 2017, and as Ashley alluded to, we worked on a project called the Old Reservoir, which it's the last and greatest main project that I worked on. I think it it, it didn't quite end up the way that we'd intended it because it was a very big, elaborate build, and it had to be cost engineered. But it still looks really impressive, and I'm proud of it. It's one of the main sort of features on our sort of marketing and branding. I've got a I've got a picture somewhere. Maybe I'll try and drop one in if I can.
yeah.
And yeah, Ashley worked with me on that, and Glenn was really pleased with our work on that. And that's when he gave us basically all of his work. Unfortunately, he went in for what was routine operation at the time, and sadly never came out of hospital. And then his at the time son-in-law Anthony was drafted in when Glenn took ill to kind of look at everything that had been going on, and our name kept coming up. People were saying, "Oh, we've been dealing with Phil, we've been dealing with Ashley," and Tony and I hadn't met at this point. So we get the call from Tony. Glenn's taken really ill. Can you come and see me? We've got all this stuff that's going on. And at that moment that we didn't know quite was going to happen in the following week, and then unfortunately he didn't make it. But off the back of that, we had to mop up sort of all of the work that Glenn had been doing with us and with other people and with Tony, and that sort of gave us more and more to do, and
Yeah.
more. We inherited some of Glenn's clients, one of which was the Furl estate, which perhaps we'll talk about, in a later episode if we get there. And then yeah, we just kind of carried on, sort of going through that process, and getting busier and busier, and to the point where the practice was doing a lot of more of its own work by then, until 2020 rolled around, and
Mm.
we all know what happened then. I don't really need to spell that out for anyone, but yeah, that sort of put the brakes on temporarily, which was a shame because the start of 2020 was really like cool and interesting. We had a lot of really great inquiries and like potential work that was coming on. Ashley was doing tons of great work. We had another chap that had started to help us, and Glyn was doing stuff. But yeah, when the lockdown began, it all kind of came to a halt.
Yeah, I think luckily there was bits we could keep ourselves occupied with
Yeah, it was great that the start of the year was so
during
good
that time.
because that carried us through. But then once the lockdowns lifted and the demand returned,
Mm.
things started getting like seriously busy.
Yeah, I think what it was is obviously everyone's been trapped in their homes with their significant others and desperate for a little bit more space, perhaps, and
Yeah,
a lot more working from home. And
I guess that will come to that at a point where that enforced staying at home really kind of made people think about how they live in their homes,
mm,
which has made our process more interesting because we're able to talk about the way that people use their homes with more interest, because
mm,
it doesn't take a lot of imagination to cast your eyes back to those years when you were kind of indoors all the time. Not
yeah,
that we should design for another lockdown, but more the way that like the best way to use your home.
yeah, it's unlocking flexibility. And I mean, a lot of people still do work from home. I don't think a lot of people
Yeah,
ever went back.
yeah,
Um,
transformed it, isn't it?
Certainly, a lot of jobs I go to now, a home office is almost certainly going to be on the brief.
Yeah,
So
yeah, a
yeah,
home office or a convertible space.
yeah, a room
So
of requirement, like I'm in now.
yeah, yeah,
Can
definitely.
be flexible and transform into whatever you need it to be, really.
Yeah, it's like box room, spare room, bedroom, nursery, airing cupboard,
Yeah,
office.
washing place in the winter. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, yeah, it was really strange after the lockdowns were lifted. It really spurred the interest in Spruce and the amount of work that we had on, and then we we started growing the practice. We started employing people. We employed Mike and Mel straight off the bat,
yeah,
and then shortly after that, probably like into the following year, then like you came on board full time.
yeah.
Because obviously, as a freelancer, you were working with us a lot, but you had other commitments as well. So that was really great when
You
you
know,
came
as
on
well
board.
for the vision and the journey Spruce is on, and I wanted to be part of that.
Yeah,
That's when I joined up.
and then we added and lost a few other people along the way, but over the years we've added like Rob to the team, who's a part two architecture person who'd worked at other big practices. Lydia came on board, and she had lots of business experience and operations, and she's helped streamline and improve the way that we provide the services we provide. And then Christian and Marina came on board. Christian's a part three architect, like 20 years experience, so he's been a great addition. Marina had sort of interior design experience and really good customer service skills and things like that, so she's been a great addition to the team as well. And yeah, we just never we haven't looked back really.
I suppose even more recently, there's a couple of additions that maybe are their own episode in
Yeah,
the future,
yeah, yeah,
being interior design and how perhaps we help architects who are looking to retire and wind down their own businesses, much like we did with Glenn.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That could be a whole sort of episode in itself. I think the way that we worked with effectively Glenn Moore's estate to take things on, and also another practice that contacted us a while back that we sort of integrated into Spruce as well. So we won't go into that just now, but we can talk about how that went and the realities of why, being like a single one man band effectively and winding down, and how you can kind of keep your clients contented, allowing you to step away. So I think that there's a lot in that, I'd say, because I think there's still quite a few sort of one person companies out there that that eventually will need to they'll need to stop. So I guess that's how we got to sort of where we are. The other things that we've been working really hard on is the sort of the way that we work with the clients.
yeah,
And from my side is I do more of the commercial clients and work with the estates and the other agents and things like that. And they're not easier to work with, but they've got more a clearer idea of what they want, what they need, their budgets, and what they want from us. So that's you could say it's a slightly more straightforward interaction. But like you and
there's
Lydia,
different requirements, isn't there? Really.
yeah, different
Whereas
requirement.
me and Lydia, we kind of head up the residential side
Yeah,
of everything.
talk
I mean,
talk a bit
that's
about
probably
the work that you've been doing on the sort of the customer service and the journey for them.
so my passion really is for the residential stuff. Like I really love going and meeting new people, walking around their homes with them. Some of these people have been in these homes for 20, 30 years, and they've been thinking about an extension for half of that, but they can't quite get it right in their heads, and sometimes it just takes another pair of eyes to come in and a little bit of experience and just say, have you thought about perhaps doing it this way? And I really thrive off that moment. If I can get, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I used to get
I'm,
that. I used to
I'm going
like
to be
that.
happy for the rest of the week, I think. Um,
Yeah, it's really gratifying when you get that. Definitely,
yeah,
I remember that.
yeah, it might not be a big thing to you, but they've been looking at this space for ages, trying to figure out the best way to make it work.
It's like you've unlocked
Um,
it for them in their
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
They've gone, "Oh,
yeah. No, I love that feeling. So yeah, that keeps me going. I'm addicted to that kind of feeling, and really helping people turn their homes into dream homes. You know,
yeah," because
um, yeah, we've been working
people.
a lot recently on our principles and how we want to set ourselves apart,
Yep.
um, and that customer facing, the client facing role is really important. We've got our three key principles. That, always being easy to reach.
Yep.
You can always pick up the phone and find at least one of the team to talk to who will know about your project.
Well, let's touch on that just really very
Yeah.
briefly and why that's a key
Mm.
principle. Because so often I've heard it over the years, and bearing in mind I've been doing this job since 2006 now, so basically 20, oh, coming up for 20 years. The complaint is, I could never get hold of him.
Yeah.
I could never get hold of him, and I hear that, or I would hear that so regularly that I always made sure that I was get hold ofable.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an easy thing to do is be available, or at least have someone available just to, you know, take the call or respond to their email. Say, yep, we've got it in hand. We're looking at this.
Yeah,
The builders that I'm working with on a big ICF project, uh, every time I answer their phone, they seem surprised. They go, oh, brilliant! Thank you so much. Yeah, can you get to site? We've got a bit of an issue that needs looking at. Well, yeah, and it goes a long way.
it makes the
Even
process
builders
so much smoother for
are,
everyone, doesn't it? The builder, the client, and then their relationship as well.
mm,
We're the bridge often between the client and the contractor.
it's just it's such an easy way to stand out, I think, and really provide that good customer service. Um, our other principles really are um, putting clients' interests first. Again, and not necessarily an easy thing to do always. Sometimes honesty, um, I think it's always the best policy, but
Yeah,
it's hard to hear sometimes.
and you and I have talked about this, where our honesty, yours, Ashley, and mine, Phil,
Mm.
we've openly said to each other we've lost work
Oh, absolutely.
because we've been honest about the project
Yeah.
or what we think about the proposal or the budget or something. So yeah, I think that's really important to kind of hammer home and to really stick to.
Yeah, I think our moral compass is really good, and I believe that in the long run, people will appreciate it, and perhaps that will turn into more jobs down the line. Um, Unfortunately, there was a lovely lady I went to see a year or two ago who wanted. It was a bit of an investment, put a new dwelling next to hers in her garden. Um, I went and saw her, had a lovely chat, talked through everything, and there's one tree that was bugging me, right in the middle of the site. And I said to her, I'm so sorry, I don't think you're going to be able to do this, and I wouldn't feel right, even giving you a quote for a fee proposal to take this forward because I just don't think it's going to happen. Went to see this lovely lady. Um, we had sat down, had a really nice chat, talked about what she wanted to do. It was a bit of an investment opportunity, a bit of a bit of a retirement fund. She wanted the possibility of getting a house, on the land next to hers. And
Yeah,
after exploring it a little while, and there was this one quite prominent tree on the site. We didn't have a TPO or anything yet. So I just said to her, I'm really sorry. I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think planning are going to allow this,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't feel right, you know, giving you a fee proposal, taking you, that far down the road when I'm pretty sure I know the outcome.
Yeah.
So we walked away from that job, and I found out a year later that she had gone with another practice
Yeah.
who had sold her the dream, applied for plan permission, and lo and behold, was refused.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that. You're sad for the client, but hopefully now she might in the future, or her relatives might say, well, these are the guys you want to ask. And I certainly have walked away from jobs, but I believe that one day they'll bear fruit.
It's hard not to be self-righteous about it when you know that you've provided correct advice and then the client goes off and gets incorrect advice and then you know about it. Not that we would be as petty as to like write to
To
them and
told you
go,
so.
"Told you so." As tempting as it be, because I've had lots of those as well. Where you say, "Oh, I don't think you can do this," and then someone else has come along and they've taken their $2,000 off the client and been unsuccessful. And then you know about it. I mean, we had Marina do a bit of research because we keep a record of all of the prospects and all the opportunities, and of the jobs that people either didn't choose us or didn't come back to us or what have you. Very few appeared to move forward. So it's whether or not they did it at all, whether the advice we provided was good and then they didn't do it, or whether they just didn't do it. So, we feel like to feel vindicated when you've kind of given honest advice. I think it's quite nice in a way.
Yeah.
Not that we're sort of spiteful or petty, but just that you kind of have that vindication, like you feel like you've done the right thing.
Yeah, I think that's really key. I think that leads quite nicely into our third principle, which kind of ties into the second one, and that's that we've got a team that genuinely care
Yeah,
about the results. I mean, we want to see a house or extension or whatever it is built as much as the clients do. You take a look at our website. There's loads of projects on there that we've got on there, and we want to add more. We
yeah.
add loads into it. Tell me a designer that doesn't want to see their stuff built.
Well, yeah,
That's the whole point. That's the magic, is walking around it afterwards with the client, being invited around to lunch occasionally,
yeah. You've had that, haven't you?
couple of barbecue offers and stuff like that. That's
My
what it's
jobs
all
don't
about.
really warrant that because it's like a shed or something.
No, well, I'll see if I can get you an invite to.
See what we can do next time. Next time. Um, so yeah, I mean, on that, the website sprucearchitecture.com being populated with nice examples, that was frustrating at the very beginning, where I'd worked with another company, another partnership, and I couldn't use really any of the work that I'd sort of produced because it was under that company's ownership. So I mean that's the way it goes. It's totally cool, but yeah, it's really awesome now to see the body of work that we built up that we can sort of point to
Yeah,
over the years now of Spruce.
yeah.
So that's really cool.
It's a great resource when I go and see new clients as well, because I can sit down with them and I can point to 3 or 4 projects that are probably very similar to theirs
Yeah,
and say, here's what we've done before.
one like this, one like this.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really helpful, and we've even had clients offer to show new clients around. If a client sees one on the website they really, sometimes it's possible to get them a guided tour.
I mean, that's great, isn't it? When a client is
Yeah,
willing to show, or a new one is willing to show an old one is willing to show a new one around. That's that's great, isn't it? You can't get a better recommendation than that.
absolutely.
So that's really cool. And on that projects, we've talked previously, in real life about like the projects we like and things like that. But maybe talk. I mean, but maybe you could talk about like maybe your favourite projects so far,
Yeah. Oh,
or one of.
immediately, I've got two that come straight to mind.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
The
maybe choose
first,
one today, and then
I'll
we can
choose
do
one
another
today.
one
I'll
another
do
day.
another one. I'll go with my favourite. Is Babylon Way
Sure.
in Eastbourne. A two-story side extension, two-story rear extension, full refurbishment throughout.
Yeah.
And there's a little video on the website that's linked down below. A little bit of me and the client talking about it. But the clients on that one are absolutely fantastic. Came to us with a list of we want these rooms. These things don't work. This is what we'd like. Can you design us something, please? And the free reign that they gave me
It's
was
a dream, really, isn't it?
it's a designer's dream. Here's what we want. Make it work, please.
Yeah.
And just kind of go to start producing drawings, and every kind of idea I threw at them, every little discussion, they took on board. They were really enthusiastic about. They incorporated as much as they could. With everything, there's always compromises and little. How about we do this way instead? But, a vast majority of the ideas I wanted to implement, they were really happy to. Fabulous clients to work with. That's actually the clients I went to lunch with at the end with the photographer, which was really nice. You kind of feel part of the family by the end of the
Well, I mean,
project.
it was a longish process, wasn't it? Despite sort of having almost, well, not carte blanche, but like a really sort of expansive brief to sort of deliver what they wanted.
Yeah,
It took quite a while to crystallise.
yeah. I was so much involved in this project, and to be honest, it completely gutted the house,
Yeah,
changed about everything.
like sliced the whole back of the house off, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it was, straight through planning without any issues as well.
Ah,
Um,
in that, I mean, we won't
so,
say what area precisely, but in that
yeah,
area, that's not that straightforward either.
no, there were a couple of other houses around that have done similarish things, but the characteristics of that area are quite set.
Yeah, they're
But
quite protective, aren't they? I
yeah,
mean, understandably, given sort of where it is and what it is, how long it's been there, and how they manage it, so you kind of get it.
yeah. But to be able to do what we have done for them is probably a real privilege.
Yeah,
Um, and I think we got highly accredited for the
yeah.
Heritage Awards for that one as
Sussex
well.
Heritage Trust. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that was good.
it was a really nice experience going to the dinner and seeing all the fabulous stuff that's been going on around. And have not one but two designs up for
Yeah, yeah.
sale at the time.
I mean,
Um,
on that, it's nice for us, and maybe we'll talk about this another time. But we're sort of architectural designers, technicians, so to be up against the cream of the crop, like REBA chartered practices and coming out of that so well, I'd say that's a real testament to what we're trying to do, what you did on that. So yeah, it's really great, really cool, really cool.
so have a look at the website. Have a look at the little videos we've done. The clients gave us a lovely testimonial as well. There's some really great pictures on there.
I think Wilbur the dog was pretty pleased with it as well,
Wilbur
wasn't
the
he?
dog, their little dog, he's become a star now. He's on all of our promotional stuff. He's on all of
I'll
our
try
supplier
and put a
boards.
picture of him in here if I can.
He's even in our colouring book.
Yeah.
He's the last page on our colouring book. Well,
I guess. Well, I suppose talking about like project that we're really proud of. What about sort of the kind of project that we'd like aspire to do?
I think the way we're moving now is kind of where we wanted to head towards, and that's these big bespoke £1-2 million houses. where clients have got an idea of what they want, and are willing to trust us like these other clients have
Yeah,
to transform this space.
the lovely refurb remodels, like the job at Plumpton,
Hmm.
the one at Newark, where they sort of have a house and they want to make it a home. I mean, and that was one thing when I was starting out and I was on my own before you guys joined. I'd go and see householders, and this conversation's probably moved a bit further away now, given the kind of the financial background that we have at the moment. But I'd often say to them, is this an investment?
Yeah,
So are you planning to do this work and go, or is it a home? And is it somewhere that you're looking to stay long term and that you want to make your own?
yeah,
And I feel like from what you guys are feeding back to me, because I don't go and see so many householders now, is that the types of projects that we are looking at, it's more like we're trying to make a home
forever
now.
homes. Yeah,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
those kind of investment type projects where people are adding a small extension or doing a loft, they seem more under pressure, less prevalent than they were when I
Yeah,
started the
I
business all those
don't
years
think the
ago.
numbers quite line up at the moment
Yeah, it's
for stuff
challenging,
like
isn't it?
that. So yeah, if you're going to put a lot of money into it, it's for a forever home. It's got to be worth it for you and how you want to live in it and the way you want to move around it.
Yeah, the way you fund it as well. It's
Yeah,
got to suit the way that you are setting your life out, how you're planning, your working life, your retirement, and all the rest of it. It's got to work, isn't it?
yeah. A lot of the time, there's a lot of future planning that goes into these kind of homes as well.
Yeah,
That's, putting a
A-
loft in,
aging in place is quite big,
yeah,
isn't it?
ground floor bedroom or a ground floor room that perhaps will become a bedroom
Or a
further down
bathroom,
the
so
line,
it's
or a
got plumbing
bathroom.
in it already.
Yeah, so there's always little considerations you've got to do when you're planning this perfect home for this perfect family at the moment. You've always got one eye on the future and say, okay, how does this family evolve? How does this work? How does the space evolve with the family?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think I think we're quite good at that. Blowing our own trumpets. I think really considering, not just the today, not just the, like
yeah,
the trend of the moment. I mean, we were talking the other day about, like glazing and like
mm,
different rooms and stuff, and it feels like open plan is kind of fading away now, and having
yeah.
these kind of zonal areas and like a snug is like big, isn't it? I mean, I think you come back every time and you go, oh yeah, another snug.
Every time, especially even when people say now, we want an all open plan and stuff like that, and I always say perhaps you need somewhere to retreat to in the evening,
Yeah.
um,
Are you sure?
a little cozy, and 9 times out of 10, it's actually yeah, we do really like locking ourselves away watching TV in the evenings and stuff like that.
I think when you present the reality of open plan to people now,
Mm,
and you say, that there's nowhere for the kids to go, or if
yeah,
you've got to do a little bit of work, say in the evening, there's nowhere to go, or even like when cooking, people's tastes are like much more elaborate now. So
yeah,
there's a lot more cooking
smells
smells
and
and
all that.
things like that,
Yeah,
and there's no escape from that. And you're like, oh, actually, it would have been nice to have closed the door on that, or
yeah,
be separate or further
yeah.
away.
It doesn't always have to be a separate room. I think, like you alluded to, there's partitions and things you can do to create flexible spaces. The whole Spruce team round at the end of the project, and you have
Of
a
course.
party. You can whack these doors open and have as much space as you like. But
Yeah, yeah.
when we've all left and it's just your family again, you can close those doors away and retreat into your little cozy snug. Um,
Yeah, for me personally, I mean, my wife Sophie and I, we've just got a place, and it's going to be a while, obviously, because these things take like a while to do, particularly if you've got like work to do and a family to look
mhm.
after and stuff like that. So, but yeah, definitely in my mind, we're going to have this really cozy, snug. Probably no windows because the main light source will come from when we open the doors
Yeah.
to the living dining space that will be really well lit with daylight and roof windows and things like that. And the idea is we're going to sort of create this kind of circular layout with doors and things that can be open and closed to suit. And that feels like when we eventually get there, it'll be a really nice arrangement because we'll have these different zones to be able to use and close.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that's on my radar, and definitely like big sliding sort of panes of glass rather than the bifolds. I feel like bifolds are maybe losing traction compared to how they were, just because they're so bulky when they're shut
Yeah.
or when they're
I think
open.
um, probably 5 years ago, everyone added bifolds to their project. It was
Yeah,
almost and you want bifolds, right? So we're going to put bifolds on everything. Recently, now
that wasn't
it's
coming from us though, was it? It was them.
no, from the clients. From the clients, it's we want bifold doors at the back. I think recently now it's the change has gone back to sliding.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
think
that
the big bifolds, like the number of times that I would see them actually open in
yeah,
in this country, it would be rare
yeah,
because of the weather that we have. Not because it's like rainy particularly, but sometimes when it's sunny, it's windy
yeah.
and
I think
things
that's the
like that.
main problem is the wind. You have got that bulk still. Sometimes, depending on how you design them, if you are designing a project with bifolding doors, try and get an odd number of doors, please,
Yes,
because that means that you don't have to open two of them to get out. You only have to open the one.
you can open the end one. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think a lot of clients now are going back to sliding doors. They're more space efficient. I think they last a little bit longer,
yeah.
and that's
Less
what they're
moving
looking for.
parts, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you can get some really nice kind of sliding, tilt, turn, sliding doors. The ones we did on Babylon Way, which you'll see, these are massive doors. So you couldn't do that with bifolds because you'd have all the frames in the middle.
Yeah,
You want to do three massive doors that can open all the way back. Um, you just wouldn't be able to do that with bifold. So
I think the people love the idea of having like this massive opening, don't they? There's,
mm,
that they can walk between the living space and the outdoor space, and that comes from. I think there's a thing with it, with us as humans, like we like that kind of biophilic design
mm,
where you sort of you connect the inside to the outside as smoothly as possible because
yeah,
even the most able-bodied of us, we hate steps and we hate like level changes, even like on a base subconscious level. The feeling of just being able to just walk like on a smooth
mm,
surface between the inside and outside is really appealing. So the prospect of having that massive open window when you
yeah,
just shoved all of the doors out the way, I think that kind of between that aspiration and then of course marketing and sales and stuff like that kind of really like drove that
yeah.
trend
Yeah.
probably for longer than it deserved.
Yeah, but bonus points if you can get the same slabs on the outside as a flooring on the inside.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I have seen a really good example of that where it was the same stone,
Mm,
but it was finished differently. So, like, I think it had been ground with a different grit.
mm,
So on the inside, it was a lot smoother,
yeah,
and the outside was rougher because obviously, if it got wet, it would be
yeah.
slippery. But it was the same. So there was a
Oh,
kind of a sheen change between the two, but it was like it looked really nice. It looked really nice. So
big sliding slide away into a wall, into the pocket.
imagine you need a massive wall
Need a massive wall
feel
next to it.
that.
Um, One day we're going to design it, and then it just goes all the way in, same flooring all the way through, and then you can dine and your garden just become one.
Oh yeah. Well, if there's anyone out there that wants to design a curved um, live-in dining space that can receive a massive curved sliding unit into it, give us a shout because we'd love to do it.
Got to be someone out there.
I think through this pod and what we're talking about, I'm hoping that we can kind of capture like people's imagination, and then
Mm,
they can sort of go, oh, these guys, they've got some interesting thoughts
yeah,
and some imagination.
yeah. I love designing all those little quirky things, little stuff that adds interest and stuff like that. So
Yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, obviously, there's a massive driver in energy saving tech and retrofit and things like that, and a lot of sort of wealthy clients might drop a lot of money on that,
mm,
and then kind of forego some of the design, which is a shame, I think. But
mm,
it is what it is. But yeah, it'd be great to work with some clients who are really interested in design, interested in energy saving technology
yeah,
that we can
I
kind
think,
of do interesting
yeah.
things with.
I think there must be a way to design these really nice, interesting things using very standard materials and building methods,
Oh yeah,
slightly doing them in a different way to give
I'm
that
sure.
illusion of something that's been designed to be really unique.
Yeah, I'm certain. I'm certain. I mean, it'd be great to use some interesting materials as well, but not every job kind of
Mm.
can stretch to having cork insulation and things like that.
Yeah.
As cool as that would be, it's just
Mm.
we live in the real world and we've got real clients with real budgets, so we have to work with them. And when they come and they have interesting projects, it's really exciting. But when they come and the projects are more perhaps utilitarian or standard, we have to deliver for them as well. So I feel like we do that.
Yeah. Well, we've definitely got some projects we can discuss in later episodes. We've
Yeah,
got some
well,
ICF projects, passive house projects.
yeah,
um, You know, what was the one where they used those? Was it Duracell blocks as
yeah,
well?
that was
So
really
yeah, we've
interesting.
definitely used a few different construction methods and types.
Yeah,
We've got some really nice examples of those.
I think there's some things that we haven't used as well that we could probably talk about that we'd like to try
Mm.
as well further down the line. But yeah, I think that was a good first
Good,
one. So
good introduction to who we are, what we do, what we want to do.
yeah, so to those of you maybe still watching or just like watching for the first time, hopefully stick with us. We're new to this, so
Can
we're
you tell?
finding our way. I mean, if we carry on going, the things might get more interesting and elaborate.
I don't know what you mean.
But yeah, so we'd love to kind of like bring you along for the journey, and I think yeah, that's us for now. So
Well, I'd like to add if anyone has anything they'd want us to talk about, if
yeah,
you've got any questions or stuff that perhaps they feel that they'd like to know more about, then perhaps we can help. And
yeah. If anyone watches this and they want to drop a comment about what they want us to talk about, that'd be great.
yeah, oh,
So yeah, well that's me, Phil, and
me, Ashley.
we're with Spruce Architecture, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Oh,
Thanks.
thanks.